Nighttime fart, like a sleep fart, is such a betrayal, like of your own body. Like,
yeah, why would you do? It's a fucking Benedict like Arnold move where it's like you're gonna go behind my fucking back while I am unconscious and fucking and represent me.
Do I look like Don Draper sitting like this?
No, it's good. It's big dick and it's big clit energy.
Big clit energy.
We like
Exactly.
that.
I just watched this like psychotic video. I just stumbled upon it, and by stumbled upon it, I fully actively looked for it. It was like how to be the most confident person in the room, and it's just like about Don Draper.
Jesus.
I know. I was like, this is crazy.
How to be the most that's like what somebody searches though when I'm like, are you a sociopath? You know, like
look. I saved it for my watch later. You know, like on YouTube, and I was like, I'm gonna check it out one day.
I feel like it's always the same. It's like that book by Andrew Carnegie of like how to make friends and influence people. Look people in the eyes, be assertive, shake your hand out, and never have a damp hand. I'm like, what year was this written? Call dames lasses, and lasses call them whores.
I love how The Shining's a horror movie. It's like men just be like that. Though.
Yeah, it's like wow, he like wasn't getting any work done. Like that's probably the most irritating. It's like, why are we even out here though? Like we're literally left all of our friends in the city. We're out here like in nature. You're not even enjoying nature. 1, 2, you're not even working on your book. So it's just like, why are we even here?
He was alone with his family for 3 weeks, and then he was like, fuck it.
Literally.
I can't even.
My dad.
I get it, dude.
It's like your dad.
Just
I
like
can't even understand when people want to hang out with their significant other like all the time. Like codependency doesn't really make sense to me because I'm like, really, you want to hang out with them all the time?
Yeah.
They're boring, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that I'm just getting to the point in my life where I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't think I would want to hang out with my person all the time. Like that is how I know that I'm inching towards being ready for a mature.
She's evolved.
Yes, that's right. Because in the past, like I am like codo as fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't.
Really
I think codependent. When you're codependent with somebody, the that lasts so much shorter. Like the actual brevity and length of your relationship ends up like if you just slowly like, hey, let's take this slow, it can last for so much longer. But if you make your partner like the be all end all, and you're like, you're my best friend, and you make me come.
Right. And we have all our meals together.
It's not pure.
And we watch this together.
Yeah. Like the expectations we put on the partners in 2022 is insane. Like you shouldn't be my best friend and my lover and somebody that I'm incredibly sexually attracted to forever and ever. Like there's no way you're gonna be able to hit all those boxes. Like you need to have different arenas to get fulfilled in the other ways, or else like they will end up disappointing you no matter what.
Oh, of course, because you're setting yourself up for failure already by projecting something that is unachievable. Yeah. You know, but it's hard, man. It's easier said than done. Like I feel like in relationships, I'm like, he should be perfect. But then I'm not perfect. I'm just realizing recently.
You're like, I literally realized this morning that
I was
I'm
like,
not
wait,
perfect.
I'm actually kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. I didn't really know that. I thought I was like pretty good. And then I was like, wait, like, you know when you put up with someone when you're dating them, like you're like, oh, I'll put up with this. They're also putting up with you.
Yeah.
I just learned that. So
like,
anyway, great advice
great
podcast
intro.
I have. Right? And I want to give you guys advice. I have no advice to give.
Also, how do you feel about me putting my feet on this couch?
Dude, do it.
There's been
So
like
I got yelled at for doing this on my Uber ride here.
Draw on marker with this couch. I don't mind.
yeah.
Right, like
do you
staying on the floor.
Do you see where we are? There's definitely been worse things than shoes. You know how many times this sofa has been like raw dog teabagged by like boys' balls that work
That
in this
sounds
office?
I've come
like
in here.
heaven.
I've come in here and there's fucking coke on the table before.
Cocaine?
Cocaine? You guys do drugs?
Wow. 666.
No, I don't know, and that's the thing. I don't know who did it. Like it's just like from the weekend, and I'm like, nobody hung
Yeah,
out here.
you seem pretty fucking guilty right now.
You know what's funny
what's
about
that?
coke is that when you're doing coke, you're like, wow, dude, I'm pretty luxurious and cool, huh? And when someone else is doing it, you're like, that
rich.
person's a trash bag.
Yeah.
What is up with that? Same with cigarettes.
You're like, wow, I can't believe that person's smoking.
You're like,
That's
I'm
gross.
literally Kate Moss. I'll see somebody being like, no, you're the dregs of society.
Dude, like if a girl like posts a pic ripping a cig, it looks so much cooler than if you see a girl at a bar like just chiefing down. You're like,
Chiefing.
oh god, fuck. What the hell?
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah, I smoked in college 100% just to look cool. And you know what I did?
Well, young people, when they smoke, they look cool. But I actually now, it kind of has a bell curve effect where like then when I see somebody who's like in their 60s and they're smoking, I'm like, that's kind of badass. Like, you don't.
Yes, that's right.
You're like telling the Grim Reaper to come hither.
It
You're
drips
like,
in the middle.
come on,
and then-
sit down. Come on, get comfortable.
Comfy.
I don't know. I feel like, but when you're in your 30s or 40s and you smoke, you're like, hey, you're going through a hard time, huh? How's the divorce going?
100%.
You know, when somebody's like smoking and like you see there's like strain in their eyes and you're like, I don't think they like this.
Yeah. Are you guys in general like drug people or more like booze people?
What?
You're like both.
I don't. Yeah. What's the difference?
At the end of the day.
It depends on the drug. I like psychedelics, light beers,
Light beers.
weed, and then there's nothing I love more on this earth than a drunk cig. Oh my God.
100%.
What feels better than that? Like, there isn't anything.
I know. It is so nice. Like you had a few drinks and you smoke a cigarette and you're like,
Damn, you don't need money to feel rich, my friends. You know, I mean, like you're like la-di-da, la-di-da.
And then you go
It's the
home.
simple things.
And then right after that cig, I'm like, I'm
I'm
ready.
ready.
Wow.
I'm out. I'm gone.
Nothing's
Then I-
grosser than like waking up, having had cigs the night before and you didn't brush your teeth. Obviously, because you came home drunk and like running your tongue across your teeth in the morning. Like,
They're furry.
that's for her.
Yeah. What's this
cancer.
mold? Is that mold on my
That
teeth?
is actually cancer.
yeah, cancer's soft. Actually, it's like really soft.
wouldn't
and
think.
It's pillowy. It's pillowy. It's nice.
I feel like drugs are maligned so much, and I my biggest pet peeve is when like I'm pretty open about drug use,
Sure.
and if somebody's like,
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm judging you.
when I'm like, fuck you, like
Right.
I don't know, like I'll talk about ketamine, and someone's like,
That's terrifying.
and I'm
Like-
like, you're a loser, dude.
We call those people like a whoa man type of person. Like you'll say something sort of super honest and then they'll be like, whoa man. That's like what we call it. I don't like whoa men.
I know, I hate that. Or like anytime, have you ever been on a date with somebody where like you start talking about something interesting and then they're like, I remember I was on a few dates with this guy and like the subject of death came up.
Naturally.
And he got like very uncomfortable and he's like, oh, well, we shouldn't be talking about this. And I'm like,
Really?
oh,
What
fine.
was it?
Why don't you tell me a story about the t-shirt you bought the other day? That's going to be so much more revelatory about each other's character, you fucking boring ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
anytime we would talk about something that was like, maybe like,
We don't discuss the dinner table, darling.
he would get like so uncomfortable. I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Remember the other day when you were like, oh yeah, Nino's like, I can't do edibles. It just makes me panic. I'm like, you just talked about hitting DMT out of a vape at a party.
I'm like, yeah, dude. First of all, it wasn't a party. I was watching Bjork. Okay. It was fucking
You
gorgeous.
did DMT?
I've done DMT so many
Are
times.
you kidding me? What
I
is
did
that
DMT
like?
like a week ago.
Whoa, man. What is that like?
It's great. It's fantastic.
Really?
It's wonderfully fun. It's great and it's safe. I don't know, it's so funny. Like that's the thing about drugs is like people categorize them in ways of like cocaine, which has now become normalized so much because I think it's just been in culture and in pop culture quite a bit for just decades, is significantly more dangerous. There could be like fentanyl in it. There's shit that it's cut
100%.
with, you know, same with like Molly, which is super duper normalized. Whereas something that like you cannot die from, like mushrooms or like acid, people get terrified. They're like, acid. And you're like, it's not really that big of a deal. Actually, it's kind of fine, you know? So I feel like, I don't know, but yeah, DMT is great, dude. Anyway, my mom doesn't listen to anything I do, so this is
So
great.
you
I
feel
can,
fine.
oh, I could talk about anything.
Do you think she would be upset if she knew that you were doing DMT?
She is a scientist from the Middle East, so yeah, she's not really chill. Yeah,
She's not a chill girl.
she's an Iranian woman in her early 60s, so you know.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah. So she's not like, you know, she's not like super laid back. You know what I mean?
Would you describe yourself as super laid back? Would you describe yourselves as super laid back?
No.
I'm asking Nina specifically because, you know, this like fallacy of the chill girl is so ubiquitous in our culture these days. And I would like to shed some light on it because I don't actually think it exists.
I'm not chill. You can't, I am not chill at all. My friend Alex Khart, who's a comedian in New York, has a joke where she's like, women can't be chill because we bleed from our genitals.
Yeah. I mean,
There's
that's
nothing
probably
chill
the
about
least
that.
Chill.
It's not chill. I'm not chill.
I'm like two slightly bad things from happening to me from a panic attack. Like just like
Yeah.
at all times. If someone cuts me off in traffic, I'm like immediately like, I'm gonna get violent.
Yeah. Your breaths away from
Yeah.
like Mel Gibsoning. Yeah.
Yeah. Every phone call I leave is just like fucking Haley Baldwin's dad.
You fucking pig. I like you call him Haley Baldwin's dad, not Alec Baldwin.
Oh, is it? I know
It's
there's
also
two
Haley
Baldwins.
Bieber.
That's like
unfortunately.
referring to Tom Hanks is like, who's Chet Hanks's dad? Who's Chet Hanks?
right,
Who's
right.
Chet Hanks's dad?
Right. You mean Tom?
That doesn't sound familiar.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Chet Hanks. Oh, Chet.
Chet. Yeah, I don't
Imagine
think,
being named Chet and then having to like
and then being Chet.
cultivate a personality.
I don't know. I think that when you're younger, girls want to be chill. We all want to be like,
Yeah, I'm chill. I'm kind of down for whatever. Like, yeah, you can call me kind of whenever. Like, just
Right.
kinda,
Like, don't even
use-
learn my fucking name.
Yeah, like just like use me in whatever capacity like you see fit. Like wherever I fit into your life, that's chill. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm down for whatever.
and then you start to garner self-respect.
Yeah.
And then, which is, bona killer, we get it. But
None of that in here. Have you seen the rug?
I wish
Yeah,
we had a soundboard that we could like just have like at an AM radio station, just a toilet flush.
And anytime someone says anything about women's rights, we're just like,
Boo!
no thanks.
No thanks.
Lock her up. Lock her up. Yeah, I don't think that's the thing too. It's like I think I don't know, at least personally, I felt as though I was trying to always accommodate a man for like a long, and that's like what being a chill girl. It's like,
Yeah, whatever you need. I'll
Yeah.
just that's fine. Like I'm fine.
and then you start to develop a psychosis, and then you become insane, and then you snap, and then you realize like, oh, I should probably
Yeah.
do things for me and probably be more straightforward and honest about my needs.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
Are you chill?
No, not at all.
Yeah, ditto,
In
not
fact,
chill.
In fact, I asked an ex-boyfriend if he thought I was chill, and he goes, "Oh no, immediately no." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "You're cool, but you are not chill." Big difference.
I identify.
And I said, "Thank you."
Yeah, I totally identify with that because like being like, well, I think it's just being honest because being chill is like there's something aloofness can be cool, but I think that aloofness can be a misnomer for not having a personality. It's like when someone's mysterious, when you're like,
Yeah.
wow, they're so mysterious, and then you find out that they're actually just boring.
Right.
You're like, how they
like barely talk.
They don't know how to respond to your
Yeah, they have
your
like
bit that you're doing.
They barely talk because they have nothing
yeah,
to
can't pick
say.
up the bit.
they're not like withholding back genius. They just have no opinions.
That's so funny. Me and my friend Lucy were hanging out with somebody this weekend, this guy, and like he really does give off that mysterious vibe. And we would make a joke, and I swear to God, 10 seconds would go by, and he'd be like, "Aw." That was his reaction.
That sounds hot.
I was like, "Oh, he just didn't get it." Okay, like it took him a long time. Like that's what that is.
This is like, I know, yeah, like he just registered what you guys were talking about.
Right,
well,
right.
that's the funny thing. It's like men and women, it's like actually the least, sometimes the less you say, like really the more alluring and appealing you are. And I wish I could be mysterious, but I can't shut the fuck up. I can't. I'm not mysterious in any way.
There's like this like awesome, I guess it's like a meme or something. It's like, she's so mysterious, said guy who's never asked her one question.
We'll do it.
I've never wanted to be mysterious. Is that like I never like looked at a girl and been like, fuck, what's your story? Like, who gives a shit?
Really? I feel like, I don't know. Did you feel like there's like that manic pixie dream girl thing where it's
Yeah.
like the kind of like quiet, like Winona Ryder,
Yeah.
you know, or like,
it's literally Delaney's character.
Yeah, or like
Like
Christina Ricci or something where it's like, wow, like what is she thinking? And she's just like, I don't know, I'm just like gorgeous and barely speak. And it's like, wow.
And they smoke
perfect.
cigarettes. Yeah.
yeah, it's like one of my favorite movies is Roadhouse because it's so ridiculous with Kurt Russell. And
I've never
like,
seen this.
okay, so basically
You seen
it's,
this?
No, I haven't seen
it's like, wait, is it Kurt Russell or Patrick Swayze? Fuck, Patrick
Same.
Swayze.
Ugh.
And it's like the
Right, so
premise
one's
is
dead, one's not.
The premise is ridiculous. The premise is he's a famous door person or like bouncer.
Bouncer.
Like he's known for his bouncing. He's so
Sure.
good at being a bouncer at this roadhouse that people near and far are coming to it. It's very weird. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because his love interest in it is just this like rail thin, big titted, tits on a stick, fucking like just bleach blonde hair girl who's a doctor.
Sure, naturally.
Doesn't
My doctor
speak.
looks like that.
She has like 4 lines in a 90-minute movie. She does it, and I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, man, she's a doctor. And it's like, what? Like, but she doesn't speak at all. And then also, there's a scene where he gets in like a really violent fight, and he literally rips a man's throat out of his body.
Yeah.
Like, rips it out. And then she's like, and runs away, and he's kind of like, what?
You would think as
I'm like,
a doctor, she would sort of stay and help.
Yeah.
well, not only that, but also like he was like, why aren't you chill about this? It's like you just murdered, you just like you ripped somebody's jugular out of their body, and
This
it's
sounds like
what?
Swayze. We got to look this up because now I'm like, is it Swayze or is it Russell?
Sways. I think it's Sways. I think it's Sways. I think we should jump into it. Delaney, you've selected some questions from our dear listeners, and they're pretty good. So
These are from the listeners.
Yes.
well, you know, users,
Users.
listeners.
Soft.
We haven't released an episode yet, so
Okay.
we're gonna. But we don't. These
We
are not
will.
from our listeners so far.
They're from some listeners.
Yes.
They listen to
And-
And,
stuff.
and, and
audience.
we're all listeners at the end of the
That's
day.
what I was
true.
gonna say. Is that the theoretically we all listen.
Except for, a few select men in my life. But
Yeah, men, you don't listen.
Yeah.
Fucking dad.
Great. Let's just
for
bring
my
him
father.
right up. Bring him right up.
Okay, Delaney, this first question.
Yeah.
How do you know if your partner is cheating?
I think that if someone is accusing you of cheating, they're usually cheating.
Damn.
Someone who has an intense fear around the cheating happening, very insecure, accusing of cheating. I mean, that to me is a dead giveaway. Usually people don't trust other people because they don't trust themselves.
Damn. Wow. Dr. Ruth, dude. That was pretty damn good. Wow. I agree. I completely agree with that. I mean, like,
Might be the most thoughtful thing ever said on this show.
yeah. Yeah, that was like actual, real, like medical advice.
I'm a doctor.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
From my house.
I agree. It's hard that like, sometimes people's behavior can like remind you of certain, like, I've been cheated on. Have you guys been cheated on? Mm-hmm. Oh, everyone. Yeah. Okay.
Oh
cool.
God, I'm so sorry. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
He just goes, it was my fault. And you know what? It probably was.
Well, I have a funny story about being cheated on, and now I find it funny now because it happened so long ago. It was like this guy I was dating that like, you ever date a guy just because you're like, you are really good at fucking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He was so
Yeah.
good at it, and that was pretty much it. But I like didn't like him. Like his personality, like he would always complain. Like a man who complains is disgusting.
Ick.
I was just like, yeah, I mean,
Right.
like work was like blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah,
How dare you be
Hey,
upset
shut the
about-
fuck. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
This world was made for you. How dare you complain about it?
I found, so we were dating for like a few months, and I suspected that he was cheating on me because a friend told me, he's like, hey, I think that he's seen somebody else. And I was like, I was really young. I was like 19
Who was the
or
friend,
20.
real quick?
Good
It's
friend. It
like,
was a good friend.
Good friend.
Yeah, but she was like, I think he's seen this girl that's my friend's roommate. I don't know, but maybe. And I was like, so I asked him about it. I was like, hey, and this is the worst. When you're like, hey, man, is this like, are you seeing other people? Because if you are, I basically gave him a total out. Like, I was like, if you are, like, that's fine. Because, like, we can just be casual. Because I didn't even really like him that much. So I was just like, let's just fuck. Let's actually downgrade our relationship.
It's really hard to go backwards, though.
Yeah, but with this, I was like, this actually might be like, I wasn't even trying to get him in trouble. I was just like, hey, are you like interested in other people? Because if so, like, let's like.
At this point, you
do
guys are
that.
not exclusive.
But I think
Because you sound really relaxed for.
I don't, when you're not really into somebody, this is also on the heels of, I had gotten out of like a very serious relationship. So this was like my next venture with somebody, which I was so much more casual about because I'm like, I
Right.
don't really want to like do the whole fucking thing again. So I was already a little, my situation was a little more tepid, you know? So regardless, I was like, hey, like, are you interested? Like, if you are, that's fine. And then he just like puts his hand on my leg and he's like, no, Nina, I just want to be with you.
Okay.
And I was like,
Hootie and the
okay.
Blowfish style.
Okay. Wow, relevant. A song that came out in 1996.
He lives down the street. We should tell him to come. Yeah.
Hootie himself.
Hootie?
Yeah, Hootie lives
Or
by
the
canal.
Blowfish.
His name is Daryl, I believe, actually. So
Yeah.
let's have some respect.
Yeah. I'm so
R.I.P.
sorry. So sorry.
In memoriam. He's alive though, right? Okay, never mind. Oh fuck, my
We
bad.
have a couple
dude.
fact checks. to
Yeah.
do.
So he just was like, no, I just want to be with you. And then I found out that then a few weeks later, he absolutely was fully fucking 2 other girls. And so I was like, okay. And I found out like I went, he was a musician and I go to his show and I was just kind of like seething with like, I can't wait to confront this fucking stupid piece of shit. Like I was just like drinking, just like being like, can't wait to fucking shit on this guy.
Yeah.
So we go through, he gets really drunk and I'm already like, you fucking pathetic. You know when a man is like wasted and you're like, you clean yourself up, you fucking whore.
It's sort of
Like,
slack jawed.
yeah.
Yeah.
You piece of shit. So he's like, can you take me through the Jack in the Box drive-thru? And I was like, let's do it. So we go through the Jack in the Box drive-thru and then I go, hey, you're fucking so-and-so. And he's like, what? And he's like so caught off guard because he's drunk and he doesn't think I'm going to bring this up that he looks at me and I was like, I know that you are. And then he just opens my car door and barfs in the drive-through line.
Dude, this is like your own A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
It's the same
Oh my
thing.
God.
Yeah. And then
similar.
and then I stopped seeing him. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, had to.
Right. And then he died.
Yeah, we hope.
We hope. We hope he's. Hey, if you're listening, we hope you're dead. This one goes out to you.
But that's a weird thing about the cheating. There's a lot of narcissism that comes with it, actually.
Yeah.
Because really what it is I think that you're craving love. And I think it comes from a hurt place. I think cheating comes from kind of a hurt place or it comes from a narcissistic place. But I think it also comes from to give someone an out, to be like, hey, like you can kind of do whatever. And then be like, no, I want you to be committed to me. Because I think a lot of cheaters, they want the person to commit to them, but they don't want to be committed.
Absolutely. Yeah. I heard somewhere that it's like cheating, when somebody cheats on their partner, it's not them turning away from their partner. It's them turning towards a part of themselves that they feel like is now gone in their relationship. They're trying to feel how they felt when they, were single and alive. And a lot of that dies sometimes when you're in a relationship that isn't working. And it's like you're not ready to give that up, but you want to feel the way you used to feel. And that is sort of like the dichotomy of cheating,
Yeah, God,
was
another
smart.
astute,
I don't-
another astute point
I
by
can't
Delaney.
chime in on that. Anything wiser? to
Yeah,
say.
what is your experience around cheating? Like, are you like, how do you feel about it, and what do you think it's about at the end of the day?
I don't know. I was just like, this is probably on me.
Okay, I heard you say that. What do you
Good
mean?
instinct.
Why do you think it was
Good
on you?
instinct.
I don't know. Like she was very attractive, and I am not. So I was just like, I get it.
Hey, what the hell? Yes, you are.
You are.
well,
you're handsome.
You
Look
have
at
a
your
tremendous-
gorgeous eyes. Look at his beautiful
Tremendous
eyes.
amount of swagger.
Thank you.
You dress well.
Yeah,
Thanks.
You're
You have a
funny.
great vibe.
Guys.
And actually,
You're
the reason we
tall.
brought you here today is
We want to
how
fuck
to
you
talk someone
together.
into a threesome.
Me and Delaney want to fuck you together.
Right. And
Liam
thank you guys so much
vomits.
for listening. He's like, this is my dream and my worst nightmare.
Panic attack.
Just like, all right, guys, let's sit here.
Okay. So she was very attractive and
I think it's pretty much just what you just said though about turning. Like that makes the most sense to me. I honestly feel a lot better about myself after hearing that.
yeah.
I think
it's
that's
nothing to do with the person that you're cheating on.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm gonna go with your answer on that. Like that was really. That's gonna help my like mental health.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then it's hard because I feel like, I don't know, being cheated on too. It's like you're like, fuck, like did I fuck up? Like what did I not offer this person? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like. Fuck, what the like.
what am I missing?
Yeah.
But sometimes you're not missing anything, and they're seeking something that is like not findable, and that's actually the saddest. That's why I think the burden of responsibility lies upon the cheater and not the cheatee.
Yeah.
I think it's a significantly more stressful position to be in, obviously, because you're this like mastermind, in a way, and it's like you're clearly victimizing somebody.
Yeah.
So you're just in the wrong period. and it's like yelling. It's like how yelling, no matter if you're right, yelling is always wrong. Like
Yeah.
it makes you wrong when you
Right.
scream. And it's like cheating regardless of like where it comes from. It's just wrong. So it's just like, you can get like, I feel like I'll get really psychological about it because it does quell the hurt to be like, oh, well, like, because I've been cheated on by other people too. And people that were like, that I was really in love with. And like, I was like, was I the catalyst for this? Like, did I do something to elicit this? And I did actually. I know that I did in a relationship. I was like, I definitely was a catalyst for somebody like being dishonest.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
How?
I think I was looking elsewhere too. But I didn't, and I kind of felt, and this is narcissism on my behalf. I really believed our love was like titanium strong, that I couldn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh,
yeah.
no matter what I do, like they're like obsessed with me. And
Yeah, it's such a hard place to be in because like you have this ego about it and you don't realize how like, oh no, I'm actually just as good as anyone else in this fucking game.
yeah. Well, love is also conditional. I think that the love, when it's like unconditional love only works with parents and children. That is truly it. Like Ted Bundy's mother still loves her son, you know, but love in a romantic environment should be conditional.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, then you're just trampling over one another's boundaries and it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me ask you guys this. If someone you were with in like a serious committed relationship that you really loved, if they cheated on you, it happens once, right? And they are never going to do it again. They are genuinely sorry. And by some weird force, they're never going to do it again. Would you want to know or not?
No.
Fuck.
I actually don't want to. I'm actually more. I've realized like how I think mystery is like a lure. Back to mystery. The pickup artist. I just like I don't know. I don't really want to know because then I feel like my partner is like radically honest with me, and I actually think it can be selfish sometimes because it's like I don't need to hear that. You know
What? Like, if you don't mind. What do you mean?
I guess like I think like how many people they've fucked or how many or like who they're attracted to, like women they find hot. I'm like, I don't need to know this or like sexual experiences that they've had.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not just to not like, yes, share with me, but like consider the other person, like consider the recipient of the information that you're giving and like how that will affect them. And maybe I'm just more like I don't know, skittish or something, but I get really like, I don't want somebody to like look at me in a different light that might be pejorative if I say things that like, cause there's a lot of shit I've done that I'm just like, I don't feel like I identify with that part of myself anymore. And it was something that I just like, I don't know. And
you're gonna marry this person and you're still like, okay, whatever. I don't want to know. I wouldn't want to know, especially if it was just one time.
Because it would honestly, I know how crazy I am that I'll be like, how the
It
fuck
would
does she
ruin
look like? How much did she weigh?
It would ruin everything. Yeah.
And does she look like me? She better fucking look like me.
Because
if she didn't look
it's
like
you
me-
want her to, but you also don't want her to.
Yeah. You don't want her. No, I get mad if my boyfriend thinks that a woman is attractive that doesn't look like me. I'm like, what?
No, that would get me so mad. Like, I would need it to be like some skinny fat Irish kid with like freckles. Who's like just like kind of just goofy looking. I'd be like, all right, you know what? Whatever. You have a type. Like,
Yeah. You want to be the person's type.
Yeah.
Like my boyfriend said that he thinks Pamela Anderson is like so attractive. And I was like, are you fucking kidding? I was so mad. I was like, what?
Okay.
Like a big titted blonde. I'm like, I'm a big assed brunette. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, fat ass brunette.
I'm pissed.
Would you want to know?
No. Like,
Yeah.
it would fuck me up for so
It would
fuck me
fuck you
for so
up.
long. I don't
Would
think
you
I'd
want to know,
No,
Delaney?
I don't think so. And you know, I did. A situation happened in a past relationship where, like, he was honest with me about like messing around, and I wish I didn't know. I wish I didn't know. Ultimately, it did ruin everything.
I actually think it's more selfish because what they're doing is they're saying like, look, this is weighing on me so heavily that I need to like unshelf it and bring it to you. And it's like, can you just like, you
is
be
so
tortured
true.
by your own behavior, please?
Yeah, and
now you're giving it to me.
And it's so important to realize like that insane feeling of guilt and like I have to tell you will pass if you literally just sit on it for a second and realize like this, by telling you, I'm actually going to hurt you so much.
I think it's really an act of selfishness. I think that somebody telling you is like them unburdening themselves with the bad that they did.
Yeah.
And it's like confessional. They're like, oh, let me just reveal to you what this bad thing I did.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't get off because of that. Like that's now I just feel shitty. Now we both feel shitty. And then it's just gonna, it's gonna sour the whole relationship, you know?
Yep.
Because I wouldn't really, also it's like when it comes to like a crime of passion sort of thing, and it's like, all right, you got fucked up, somebody hot hit on you and you fooled around with them. And then you like probably were like, fuck, what did I do? I can't believe I did this. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
I just don't want to, don't fucking do it again. But like, I don't wanna know
or
about
actually
it.
don't do it at all. But then like, if it does
First,
happen,
don't do it.
yeah.
Well, I also think that it will like psychically like fuck you up. Like the person who cheated, like you'll feel that vibe on them. You know what I mean? Like it's not a good, like you'll kind of be like, huh, there's something like a little off, or like they're not connecting with you as much, and you're like, huh, like there's something is awry.
Right. And also, like, if one of you guys is like fucking around, that relationship is probably going to end anyway. So you might as well just not tell him.
Yeah.
Like, it'll end eventually.
Yeah.
Might as well save
Soon,
him.
probably.
Yeah. Might as well save him like the
Soon.
intense, like, fear of intimacy and trust issues.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we've all been cheated on, and I mean, don't do it. But it's also like, I don't know. It's so funny because we talked about this in a previous episode about cheating, and it's like, people are human, but it's also like, if you're gonna do it, like the stakes can be so fucking high. But it's also, if it's like low stakes, if you're young, it's like, I get it. Like I was kind of thinking about that when you're young and you cheat, it's like you're kind of just an idiot. But when you're older and like you have so much writing on the line, then it's like, damn, like you're being, then it's actually just it's an act of like self-mutilation.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean? Like you're actually like really, it's an act of self-harm.
Yeah.
When you sabotage yourself in that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucked up. Anyway,
Yeah, cheating's bad.
cheating's bad,
Conclusion.
guys. Yeah, cheating's bad, and don't do it. All right, guys. Question number 2: is it normal for heterosexual men to crave getting pegged? Liam.
Take it away, Liam. I would actually like you to hear what you have to say on this first.
I don't know anyone in my entire time alive. Well, that's bullshit. 'cause
Which is how many years?
They wouldn't
16 years.
23.
Okay.
They wouldn't tell me. So that fact doesn't matter.
Do you, is there any part of you that understands it?
No.
No.
Like I don't, and now that I'm getting older, like you'll hear guys that are like 26, like closer to 30.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, G spots in the ass. And I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and I hear it more and more.
Yeah.
But
are you intrigued? Would you catch a finger?
See, like, no, not yet.
Liam
Not
won't
yet,
even.
not yet.
Liam won't even catch a finger. He said that one time a girl, when he was like hooking up with her, she was like squeezing his butt, like his butt cheeks.
The cheeks.
Yeah, and I
He
was
was
like,
You were
not
like,
into
get
that.
out of there.
I was like, I'm shutting this whole thing down if that happens again.
Happy Ash Wednesday. It's the Catholic.
Ash Wednesday.
It's the Catholic guilt.
Yeah.
Seething.
Maybe. It's just like, it was weird. I was like, damn, this is not into that. Like, so I don't know if I could, but I guess, how common is that? Also, as a girl, would you fucking want to do that? Like, maybe?
What I think about, what makes me laugh so much is like the moment before the pegging begins is like putting on the apparatus, like fastening it, like so embarrassing. Like that's the most embarrassing part.
'Cause you have to put her on
he's
like a
waiting
diaper.
on all fours, and I think that, look, I'm a big proponent of doing things for the story. So
Okay.
You would do it.
Have you done anything like that?
I mean, lest you forget, we are a bit older than you. I'm 26,
Okay.
which is when you sort of mentioned.
And
the
I'm
men are starting
14,
to get in.
but I'm really
so petite.
advanced. Yeah, I'm 14 and I look like shit.
I've been smoking since I was 6.
I look like shit for a 14-year-old. Yeah, like rough.
That is so funny. I think the first time I was like introduced to that I was really shocked. I was like, in the same way that you were discussing it, I was like, I didn't realize that men wanted this. And then once they kind of like open that floodgate. You're a little bit like, oh, cool. Anything fucking goes.
It can be kind of hot to like toy with gender roles, obviously. To toy really with like anything. I've never pegged a man. I will say I don't have a desire to peg a guy. Like, I'd rather fuck a girl with a strap on than fuck a man's ass.
That seems like that would be fun.
That would be way more fun, because then I could like pretend I have a dick and fuck a woman, but I wouldn't really want to fuck a guy's ass. But I have eaten a guy's ass and I have fingered a guy's ass, and I was like into it.
And
and I'm like down
buffet.
to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like
what's
a
the
nice.
exact question. Is
it normal?
Is it normal?
It is totally normal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's normal
for sure.
I think I would say the only like if you're like a 13-year-old kid that like just discovered like masturbation, you're like, it's time for me to get pegged. That's your first fantasy.
Right, it's giving peg.
That might be a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'd also be very curious, like, to see the sort of the strap on that the man has. Like, if he's like, oh, I want to get pegged, and then he brings out the strap on, I'd want to see, like, is it big? Is it rubber? Is it, what?
Is it like a lucite,
Yes.
kind of, is it dishwasher safe?
Yes.
I would hope so.
We hope so.
I would hope so.
No.
I have a friend who really craved pegging a guy. I don't think she might have done it now, but it's a fantasy that she's had. So I think that women do have this fantasy, but it's like to each their own. I also think just in terms of like the sexual spectrum of behavior and desires, I actually think everything's normal. It just
I know what you're
depends.
saying.
Everything, whatever you want to do, if like consent and communication are involved, then you're good.
Yeah.
That's really what I believe. That it's like, look, like, you strike me as a girl who maybe likes to get choked when you get fucked.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
And you're referring to me actually specifically. Yeah. Me.
Now look, some would say look, sometimes getting hit in the face while you're getting fucked is like really fun. It's weird. I don't know why.
I was dating a guy who I don't know why we ended up getting in this conversation with his mother.
Oh no.
But his mother ended up saying something like, even consensual violence against women is non-consensual. And I really disagreed with that, because I think in a lot of ways, like, if it is in a really safe environment and a woman is craving that sort of type of consensual, like, sexual violence, like, that can be really, like, healing. It can be really
gratifying.
Yeah. Like, they talk about that all the time with, like, people who actually did experience some sort of abuse. Like, putting that into a controlled, loving environment can be, like, really healing.
Yeah, I completely agree, because I think that where it comes from, that desire, and it usually comes from, like, it should be obviously in a safe space with somebody that you really like trust and everything, but that desire almost comes in this, like, I really want for somebody that I feel safe with to make me feel like a little danger.
Yes.
And there's something really alluring about that and really sexy about that you're like, oh, we're like really toying with something that is like, feels like it could go in, but that ultimately you're safe. And so you're kind of relaxed in a way, but it's almost like, it's like being tickled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a conflation of pleasure and pain, like the Venn diagram of pleasure and pain.
Yes.
is like a very exciting area.
It's odd. Like, a girl's asked me like do shit like that before, and I'm like fine with it. But when she's asked me to like do dirty talk, I'm like,
yeah, don't give me that.
Okay, well, dirty talk is actually terrifying.
That's also harder to do.
It's so much harder to do. I'm like,
so difficult.
what's up, you bitch whore?
Yeah, you little slut whore, bitch. Bitch whore, slut whore, bitch.
You're stupid.
Right.
Your friends don't actually like you. I heard them talking about it.
Yeah, they're roasting you in a group chat as we speak.
They're in a chat without you.
It's weird that you wear clothes that are pretty unflattering because your figure is not conducive to your style.
That's so funny. God.
Your parents are required to love you, but I can tell they're not really into you.
Right. She's like, yeah.
Your major in college was fucking dumb.
Communications? What the fuck?
What are you gonna do with that?
Amazing. pegging, yes, absolutely go for it.
Dirty talk, absolutely not.
It's just too much work. It's too much.
Peg, yes. Dirty talk,
Yeah, it's too much work. Like, I don't like, oh my God. And sometimes people say things where I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. I had a guy, oh my God. This was so sad because I like really wanted it to work. And he was like hot and smart and funny and rich. And I was like,
Sick.
Damn.
but then also, you can't, here's the thing. If they're hot and rich, then they're like sociopaths. If they're hot and funny, they're broke. It's just like, you have to
That is so funny.
yeah, you're just like, fuck, like, where do I fall? But so we went on a few dates and we like fooled around that night. And then the next morning, so it's like morning, sober, just chilling. And we start fooling around. And he goes, yeah, suck daddy's dick.
Nope. Good night. Good night, daddy.
And that's a wrap.
Daddy's special kiss. Cut that.
And he keeps saying, suck daddy's dick, like
Good.
maybe 40 times. And then also says, he said it as though he had Tourette's. He was like, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl,
Sort
good
of a
girl.
stutter.
Yeah. And it was just so, here's the thing. I barely knew this motherfucker. So it's like, okay, I can like this is advice. If you're hooking up with somebody for the first time, you're Switzerland, baby. Stay neutral, okay? And
Yeah, you have
just
to feel that shit out a bit.
yeah, just be normal and see kind of, maybe even like a spank is normal, maybe, but even then, like I'm like very neutral the first time I have sex with somebody. I'm like, where are we at? And then you get progressively, the more you become close, then it's like, all right, we can go a little gnarlier.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I'm like, I barely knew this guy. Like, I mean, this was like, I think the second time he ever saw me naked, maybe. We never even had sex before. We never had sex after that, obviously.
Oh, obviously.
But it wasn't even like,
That man's in
all right,
jail
we're
now."
drunk, we came home, and I'm like, playing out some porn fantasy. It's like, it is 11 a.m. on a Sunday. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is daytime. This is not good.
Yeah, I think it's funny, like when you take somebody home and you guys are both like really drunk, like the dynamic of that sexual interaction, and then the morning after, if you are gonna hook up again, how like that's basically two different people.
Yeah.
Sometimes like this is so weird, and I think men sometimes do this. We're like, they're like with a one night stand situation, like they don't, they like are not like, they're so much more passionate, and then the evening, and then like in the next morning they want to fuck again, but they like won't. They don't want you to be like, no, but you're not like my girlfriend, so I'm not gonna like kiss you. Or something. Like, guys like won't kiss you. Like, they like literally ate out your asshole like 8 hours prior, and then in the morning they still want to fuck you, but then they're like,
It's different now if we kiss on the lips.
yeah, they turn into Ennis from fucking Brokeback Mountain, where it's like, why do I gotta like coerce
What do you have to say about that? Do you feel like that is there's something to that?
Maybe.
Would you kiss a girl on the mouth the next morning?
Yeah. Having sex with a girl and not kissing her is like prostitution at that point. Even if it's
Yeah,
not
well, I
paid.
guess that's the way people frame me. So
One time I hooked up with a girl and then I like tried to hook up again the next morning. She was like, nah.
Oh, okay.
And then we had to just lay in bed.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, she's
Were
gonna
you
leave.
at hers or was she at yours?
She was at mine.
and she wouldn't
so you're like,
leave.
leave.
And then I was like, okay, so like we'll probably just. And then she was just like on her phone. I'm not bullshitting, like just like on TikTok, like watching videos, and I'm
Ew.
Yeah, do one of my videos
It's like-
come up?
yeah,
You're like, oh, that's Delaney.
And I was just like,
Yeah, horrid.
Yeah.
What is the kind of most ridiculous way that you've gotten somebody out the next morning or
Oh my
left somebody's
God.
place the next morning?
That's a great question.
oh my god. Like, I've left my own place with a girl at my place.
Okay.
Or I'm just
yeah,
like-
that's brutal. That's amazing. I mean, I can totally understand why one would. How did you get out? Were you like, I have a meeting on a Sunday?
I was just like, I gotta go, and she was like, where? And I was like,
You're kidding.
I was like, she was still asleep, so I was like, I'm like jacket on. I was like, I'm just gonna like, my car wasn't there. I was like, I'm just gonna like walk.
Your car wasn't at your own place.
No, I don't know why, but it wasn't.
I still don't know where it is.
Still looking for it.
I just like walked. One time, this was like in the dorms in college. I just like hung out in the common room.
Yeah.
and like just waited her out.
Couldn't handle it.
No, I was like, can't do it.
Waited her out like she was a fucking Soviet leader that you were like, I don't know, they're gonna have to leave their house at some point.
Yeah.
I think there's an etiquette there.
Have you guys ever done a fake leave?
Oh, what's that?
Like you're like, oh, I gotta go. And
Oh,
then as
shit,
soon as
I gotta
they leave,
go.
You come back.
And then they're like, oh, I was like, sorry, do you mind? And then they leave, and you're like, okay, cool. You get in your car and you drive for a second, and then you go back into your own home.
That's
That's amazing. I've never done that.
Yeah, fake leave.
Fake leave. What a great
yeah,
move. I think, look, there is an etiquette that you should follow the morning after, something like that. Like, no matter how good it was.
Read the fucking room.
Read the room, cut it short, leave on a high, 100%.
Yeah, sometimes it'll be like, I always read the room. I very much edge on, I favor leaving like more. Like I just don't ever want to linger. I want to like leave that. Even like the night of, I'm kind of down to leave.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, depending on like, you know, the vibe. But I offer that. I'm like, hey, should I go? And then they're like, no, stay. I'm like, okay, stay. And then in the morning, I'm like, do you want to get breakfast? I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this motherfucker should buy me a meal. You know, but like
you'll do a breakfast?
I'll do a breakfast. If I like the person, I'll do a breakfast.
Okay.
But like sometimes I'm like, I gotta get out of here. You know, most of the times I'm like, I gotta get out.
Will you do a breakfast?
same thing. If I really like her, then I'm like,
Yeah.
like,
Let's continue to hang.
yeah. But I literally for a while thought I was being polite by immediately leaving. I thought that was, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not like,
It kind of depends.
In a way, it is.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it is actually. Well, I like if a guy comes over to my place and if it's a one night stand and we hook up, I don't want to sleep next to you. I want you to leave.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I think that is polite because it's like, what if you snore and shit? And then I'm like, you're in my bed. I can't even leave. Like, we're at my place.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, like definitely offer to bounce.
Things are so delicate in the beginning that it's like you want to mitigate as many opportunities for them to like see you in a weird position as much as you can. Like you don't want to give them that chance to like see you do something embarrassing that soon on, like snoring or like farting in the middle of the night or like
Oh man. I just like I lay awake at night thinking about how many times I have farted in my sleep. And then my partner
that
like
literally ended one of my relationships.
yeah. It ended? Wait,
What?
you have to
yes.
I was seeing
explain.
this guy that I was like so into, and he was quite like he's a little bit older. I was probably 22, and he was like 31. So that of course I was obsessed with him. He was probably completely average and weird, but you know, just like the age difference. And we kind of waited a long time to hook up, and then once we finally did, it was like twilight hour. You know, it was like 5 a.m. The birds were chirping. And I don't know what
You're
happened.
exhausted, but you're like, I gotta fucking come.
I'm
Let's go.
so hungover, and he doesn't drink. He didn't drink at the time. Who knows? He could be, you know, off the wagon now.
He's dead.
Everyone
alcohol
we talk about
poisoning.
is dead
He
now.
could literally be dead. But I just sort of like accidentally like let out the cutest, most feminine fart.
Let's hear it.
It was like this. Like that was it.
No, I was gonna go for more of a toot, like a
like a
no.
no.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be like an old prospector spits into a spittoon. It's like that kind of style.
Right. It was like a nun's fart. You know, it wasn't the fart of like a, you know, a fat peasant lady. This was a cute fart, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
It was an Emrata fart.
It was if Emily Ratajkowski farted, it would have been that. So that happens, and I just, you know, obviously freeze. I'm like, he's at least presenting to still be asleep like a gentleman. But I know he heard it because I would say in the next minute or so, he spontaneously wakes up. So I was like, he definitely heard it. And I swear to God, 2 days later, I get like a paragraph text breaking up.
Fuck that guy.
Did he mention the fart in the text?
Did he?
Title. Midnight fart.
You know, he didn't. Just that like puff of air emoji. No, he didn't. But
Puff air emoji and then the emoji that's just this. Just like,
Right.
we're done.
Nope.
right. No, he didn't mention it, but I knew. You know how that woman's knowing. Yeah, I knew it was the fart.
But fuck that guy. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That is like, that was gonna end anyway.
I know.
For him to literally like, you literally just did something that every human being does, which was like a little fart, and
Yeah.
then he's like, "All right, I can never see her ever again."
I would have done
Yes.
the same thing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Also, he didn't drink, so that definitely had a timeline on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he definitely used to, and then he probably had some
Yeah.
much farting.
Yeah, too much.
bad fart
Too much
incident.
farting early in the morning.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I feel like, well, I was with somebody, I dated a guy for a few years, like for a while, and I don't think he heard me fart one time.
That's crazy.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, I
That's,
know.
like,
It's
impressive.
fucked up, but I also like, or here's a trick. So if you're, if you get caught farting, you just have like, just be like, what was that? Just be like, or just start like, oh, sorry. I was
Yeah,
just,
sorry, I'm just scatting.
You could
Yeah.
blame it on the guy and be like, "Did I? I guess I did." I
just
don't know.
if you fart, just make more noises, and then be like, oh, it's a part of it.
I don't think there's any way out of it. I
No.
don't know. What do you feel like is the etiquette with farting?
Is it
in
that
relationships?
grotesque?
Huh?
Is it that grotesque
Dude,
if
like,
a woman?
I haven't really encountered it yet. Like
Yeah.
the closest I got is I went to a girl's apartment one time and she had one of those squatty potty things in front of the toilet.
I don't like that. I
And
don't
I
like
was like-
seeing that. I don't like seeing your poop accoutrements.
I was-
I really don't. I just hide those, like the poopery, and I'm like, just like, I don't like that.
And I was like so attracted to her. I'm like, dude, this girl's taking like such aggressive shit. She went online, researched, and bought technology to like help her. And I was just like in the bathroom. I was like in there for like 15 minutes, like sending a picture to my boys. I'm like, this is fucked, right? And they're like, I don't
Were
know.
there skid marks as well? Or?
No.
Okay.
Just
Well,
just
thank
the,
God.
Just the squatty potty. Just that she was a squatty potty owner.
yeah.
Was enough.
I walked out and I said, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Like it was like another guy's underwear. You got something to tell me? Do you poop?
Yeah.
Do you
I
fucking
think,
poop?
I think
You're taking ergonomical shits, you fucking perverted bastard.
Where are you going? Why don't you go ask the squatty potty in your bathroom?
You
That is
people like you
insane.
disgust me.
You make me fucking sick.
I also don't like seeing the like wet ones, the like ass wipes.
dude wipes.
I don't like that. I don't like seeing. I don't want it. Again, I don't want your fucking poop paraphernalia littering your bathroom. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Don't remind me. Just like was like, yeah, don't worry. No, you should like it because my asshole's clean. I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it.
No.
I leave my floss out because I'm like, yeah, I floss like every day.
Yeah, that's a flex. That's
Yeah, yeah.
I think that I used to be like, yeah, if you really love somebody and you guys are close, you should be farting, you should be doing. And now I am not of that mind. I think like it is in your favor to protect some of the mystery in the relationship by not doing that in front of each other as much as possible.
I agree, but some people, I mean, man, it's funny though, because you realize you don't really, this is where I kind of rest upon my laurels with this.
Of
And I'm
your
like,
laurel.
yeah, I think that like having partners that have like farted and just like pissed or shit with the door open or whatever, when you love someone so much, it doesn't even matter. That like I still like am very protective about that, and I get really in my head. And then when a guy does it, I'm like, oh wait, I don't really care that much. And I'm like, oh, he probably doesn't care that much. And I don't know, if a guy's dating me, he's not really into like the most like, I'm a little Barbie doll woman, you know, like I don't really have to put up like a false pretense, but
So what you're saying is like you're a gassy girl.
I don't know sometimes, but I do know I get deep paranoia that I'm like farting and they hear me, and like I'm like,
Yeah.
what do I do?
A nighttime fart, like a sleep fart, is such a betrayal, like of your own body. Like, like
Yeah, why would you do? It's a fucking Benedict like Arnold move where it's like you're gonna go behind my fucking back while I am unconscious and fucking and represent me while I'm asleep. You're representing
You're
me.
talking on my behalf while I'm not there. That's what we're gonna do now. Okay.
It's gonna be like that then. All right.
Well, I think women are like, we're probably so unhealthy in so many ways because the amount of like farts and shit that we hold in our bodies. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Just
I
like,
saw an article. Some girl had like go to the hospital. It
Yeah.
was like some model.
I'm sure.
Right. It was Emily Ratajkowski, I believe.
Yeah, it was
And
just-
I think men, I've never known a woman to get hemorrhoids, but like men get hemorrhoids all the time. And hemorrhoids are from like lifting and pulling and like aggressively shitting. Like you'll get like, and I think guys are just like,
Liam's shaking his head. He's like, "Yep."
yeah, well, it's the way that they like, have you ever given a guy something to fix? And he's like, well, you just put it in there. And you're like, you just broke it.
Like, no, I get it.
They were very forceful.
So fucking funny.
Wow. I feel like we're learning a lot.
Dude,
All right,
yeah.
guys. Question number 3. That's French for 3.
Wow.
And
Okay. Scholar.
yeah, I know. It's pretty good. And question number 3 is on brand. What is the best way to ask for a threesome?
I know dudes that have ended relationships this way because they like thought that
Say more.
they like thought their girl was gonna be into it for sure.
Uh-huh.
And they brought it up to me. I'm like, don't do that. Like,
So they thought that she was going to be into even just the asking of it, or
Well-
they got down to it and then it ended up ruining the relationship.
just
That
the
can happen
asking,
too.
because their girlfriend was a little bi every time she drank. So
Sure.
That's
Sure.
fair.
Drunk by.
yeah, drunk bi. So she'd make out with girls in front of us and we'd be like, that's sick. And then
Oh my God. How old are...
I was
Yeah,
like,
they were
19.
16.
Yeah, we were young. And then he was like, I'm gonna ask. And then he asked and she broke up with him on the spot.
Yeah. My thought on that is like, yeah, I think first you should maybe feel out, is there any interest in the opposite sex or in the same sex, or like, is there any, interest in experiencing that with your partner as like a means to like make each other closer? Because that can happen. Usually doesn't, but it could happen. Yeah, and then I think that there's a rule that should be implemented, and it's like if a man is asking his female partner, are you interested in a threesome? You have to basically be willing to do whatever combination. You can't assume that it's going to be 2 girls and a guy.
Oh, boy.
So it's like the second you're down to do 2 guys and a girl, I'd be down to do 2 girls and a guy. Like that, I think is how it should be. You
Damn,
have to,
fair wager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even watch threesome porn. Too much going on.
Yeah, lots to look at.
Can't focus. I'm serious.
Yeah.
What's happening? Who am I looking at?
Some of it's like, I've had a lot of threesomes, and I feel like that
What's a lot? Write it down.
Yeah.
A lady never
tells. We're going to need numbers.
Well, when I first stared having threesomes, I was
Back
really
in the
young.
day, summer of 90.
Yes. It was the winter of 1959. We were in East Village.
It was cold. There wasn't a lot of food around.
Allen Ginsberg was waxing poetics in the corner. I had a glass of scotch. And anyway, should I keep going? No, okay. I think the way to ask for a threesome, I mean, honestly, I agree with you, Delaney. It's like first, like, again, read the room, take a temperature, see if the person's into it. It is interesting. I have been offended a little bit when a partner asks, but not to the point where I'm like, fuck you. Cause I have like had sex with women, and I am like more than a little bit bi-curious. You know what I mean? I don't just make out with women at drunken parties. Like I've had just like sexual relationships just with women exclusively, So it's like, I can understand. And it's like, is it every guy's fantasy?
I don't think so. Like, I mean, it'd be cool. I've never had one. So maybe like,
Do you fantasize about it?
no, like,
You don't fantasize about like 2 chicks like fucking you.
That seems like it would be anxiety inducing for you, just
For
kind of
me,
based on what you were.
yeah, like I'd feel like I'd be trying to split my attention the whole time because I wouldn't want to make someone feel bad.
Right, and
So,
and
like,
inevitably, whether it's slightly or like more pronounced, you are probably more into one person. Like that.
It's going to be preferential. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then if I come too fast, then 2 girls are sad instead of 1.
That is hilarious.
whole-
Disappointing 2 girls. Not enough dick to go around.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. But like, no, it would be fun to do. But it's not like, I'm not actively
Seeking it?
Yeah, no.
I have like almost every guy that I've been with has wanted one. But I actually think that this is maybe a controversial opinion, but I also I just could be wrong. I probably am wrong, but I wouldn't really want to have a threesome with my partner. I've never had a threesome with somebody that was my boyfriend. It's always been like somebody I was maybe like casually dating, and it also was never planned. It kind of just like happened, and it was like really fun. Or like a friend, like a girlfriend of mine who's like really rad, like her and her husband like to have threesomes, and they lived somewhere else, and it was like a fun, and they like, it was like fun. And I was the visitor. I am down to be the visitor, but it's like, first of all, I think it would be extremely traumatic to watch my boyfriend fuck another woman in front of me. Like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And do you know that about yourself? Like that's important to
I
know.
already know that I would rather him literally fuck somebody else with me not there.
Yeah.
Literally.
Wow.
I agree with the fun side of it. Like if it was with you're visiting a friend or you're just like drunk with it's a fun thing.
Yeah.
That's way different.
Yeah, I'm not
So you
sure if it's an like an opportunity for like deep pleasure as much as just like a fun,
Can't you
crazy thing.
connect with some, like in terms of like what you brought up, Delaney, of just like, well, if it's a means to sexually connect with your partner in a different capacity, the fact that involves another human being is like, again, this is just preference, because I don't think there's anything wrong with whatever people, because some people are like, oh, I'm really into it. Like my friend and her husband, like they were really into it. They really liked like having that connection. They both really liked doing that, and I think that it did bring them close together, and it didn't threaten their relationship. I think I just personally, like, maybe it's a self-esteem thing, but I would feel threatened by it.
I couldn't do it.
That I wouldn't like it.
I mean, even just back to the actual question of like, how do you go about doing it? Like, I would say like it's important for the person who's receiving the question, the person who's being asked, like to maybe think about it, not be offended by the question, like maybe to reframe it in a way of like, oh, my partner is like so secure in this relationship and thinks that I am so secure that he would be down to like put this out there. I don't think it has to be this negative thing of like I'm not enough or whatever, because I think that's immediately where the mind goes. But I don't necessarily think that is true.
I agree with you, but I think it's easier said than done, because I can understand it. Like I can look at it logically and be like, yeah, it shouldn't, or it doesn't need to feel threatening, to your sexuality and self-esteem. But I can understand why it would. I will say though that the girl to break up with her boyfriend just from asking the question when she already had bi-curious tendencies, that's a little overkill on her behalf, because I think that's not really fair to him. It's like he's just asking. But
to be fair, he did ask to do it with one of her friends, so that
that is
okay.
Cold-blooded.
I left out that detail.
Yeah, that's a big,
a huge detail, and I would be not so down to hear that.
But it was like the friend that she always hooks up with. Which is like,
yeah, but he could have put it in her court.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna ask for a threesome, don't
who you be interested in.
Don't be so specific either.
yeah,
honestly, do not be specific. And just be really and float it. Don't even like be like, Miss, may I? Just be like,
float it.
What do you feel about, like, how do you, like, even just a theoretical, like, hey, hypothetically.
You, me, Christine.
Yeah. How about this? Me, you, and your hottest friend. It's like, great.
Just saying, asking for someone else.
Well, it ruins like a dynamic.
That's actually such a good segue into, I think, one of the other questions that we pinned.
Which is it normal to check out other girls when with someone?
I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I've struggled with it for a really long time, and I've now come to the opinion that yes, absolutely, it is normal for both members of the relationship to be checking out other people. It's a natural thing. It's really natural to admire other people's beauty. What I've learned is that no one is a threat in a relationship unless you make them a threat. So it's like, there could be a beautiful, beautiful girl at a party, and the second I start going like don't talk to her, like, God, she's so pretty. It's like that. Then she became a threat. Yeah. If I went, damn, that girl's hot. Don't you agree? Like we can both admit she's stunning, right? Yeah. Like, oh my God. Then like you've taken the gas right out of it. You are showing that you're confident, and it's like, your partner wants to be with somebody confident. He doesn't want to go and like mess around with the hot girl there. He's like, I've got this great girl who's so confident. Like, that's my girl, I think that's what I've come to at this point.
That's a wonderful way to look at it. I think that's incredible advice too. I think it is absolutely normal. I agree to check people out. We're fucking human. Honestly, if you're not checking people out, what are you, a fucking Hasidic Jew? Like, doesn't even make it's fine.
My landlord is. I like walked out with like wearing a shirt without a bra. It was like a wife beater. It wasn't like, it was a little intense.
Sinner.
But no, like I crossed him in the hallway, and I swear to God, he like jumped back. He was like shaking. He was like, I've sinned. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I feel bad for putting this
I
on.
was covered in goat's blood, and I did have a pentagram carved into my forehead. But
yes.
Yeah, but I think he was distracted by the tits. I think the tits are the thing that threw him off,
I think it's normal. I mean, look, and men and women, because look, like, people are attractive, and it's fun to look at people. And also, and maybe I'm in the minority here. I also think that it does like gas somebody up. Like, you know, when like a guy checks you out, even if you're in a relationship and like somebody like checks you out, or like, you know, it feels good. And then if you can apply that like good feeling to your partner.
Yes, take it back to your partner.
Yeah.
100%.
Even like like if somebody like flirts with somebody, you know, you flirt with a fucking barista or bartender or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, I don't think there's really anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think some people disagree, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I wouldn't care if my partner did that. But it's like obviously then redirect that kind of jolt of, you know, self-esteem boost that you got redirected toward the relationship or to me or whatever.
I find it really attractive to see my partner being desired by other people.
I agree
You know,
with
it's
that.
like what do you want to be with? Like someone who nobody looks at?
Yeah, a
You
leper.
don't want that. Think about it the other way. It's like, I think you should be, you know, flattered that, you are with somebody attractive and who can recognize attractiveness in other people as well. And you guys still choose to be together. So I think it's totally cool. What do you think, Liam?
I agree. If you're not, that means you're just actively like like fighting the urge to do it, because everyone does it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just an instinct just to be like bang, like no matter what. So
You
it's
should
like
feel free, you know?
yeah. I think there's a line.
There's a line because also like, well, the thing is you can control your behavior.
Yeah.
Just because you find someone sexy and you're maybe looking a girl up and down doesn't mean like you're gonna fuck her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, what's the line?
Like if I'm out to dinner with a girl
Yeah.
and the waitress is attractive and I'm just like like first
Yeah,
of all,
you're
like
leering.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't do
that's
That's gross.
it's gross. But if we're walking down the street and some rocket walks by, I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like I'll like make a joke out of it. Like, did you fucking see that? Just
Yes.
walk. Like, who was that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I sometimes you'll meet people in relationships who their whole energy, like without you even asking, they're just like, I have a girlfriend. Okay, I have a girlfriend.
Ew.
You know,
Dude,
and
that's
that
the most
always is the
annoying
worst.
It's
thing.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
calm the fuck down.
But also usually I think that energy has been like put onto them by their partner, so they feel like they have to act that way.
Yeah.
Because they're
They're like fucking dogs that have been abused.
literally jump between my
It's the
legs.
energy, like
It's so that's so ridiculous. That's like
so-
militant.
especially like that's happened at bars and stuff where like I just meet like a group of girls and I'm with like two of my friends, literally just being like, let's have fun. I'm like, let's do a round of shots, like fuck it. And then I'm like, what do you want? And then I'm like, a girl's like, I'm seeing someone. I'm like, cool. We're gonna.
do you want to do a shot,
Yeah,
you
like-
dumbass?
Did you think I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah,
it just makes me feel like such like a weirdo. I'm like, am I giving off like a rapey vibe right now? What am I doing? I was gonna say all this whole podcast.
It's giving rape.
At the end of the day.
Is it my Vans? What's going on?
Right.
I think it is. I think it is like within reason. Obviously, it's like just be. I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty fucking simple. Just be respectful. That's it. Just be fucking
some
respectful.
class.
Don't be a fucking cartoon wolf in a fucking Looney Tunes. Like, yeah, don't be like, you know, like I don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, a friend of mine said this to me a while ago, and it really stuck with me. She was like, just like in terms of jealousy and everything like that, kind of like what you brought up about like the being at a party and maybe seeing somebody attractive and being threatened by that. It's like, it's only a thing if you make it a thing. That's a big thing. And also like a friend said this to me about like she was like getting a little obsessive about her ex's or her boyfriend, her current boyfriend's ex, you know, because she was this like really hot chick, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, I think that some people can be like, oh, your ex-girlfriend or your ex-boyfriend or whatever. I think it's more of a younger tendency to do that.
Yeah.
But she was like, I realized that I was actually like allowing this person that didn't exist in his life anymore to steal time from my relationship, you know? And that's like, you know, whenever you're jealous or like, you know, you find somebody else as a threat in any way, shape or form, one, it deduces you.
Yeah.
It doesn't make the other person like, it just makes you look bad. And it also like, then you're kind of activating this like problem that wasn't ever really a problem. And then you're kind of inventing something. And then it becomes an actual problem because you're just like, you're stoking a fire, but you also fucking lit the damn fire.
Yeah, I think people will rise to the standards that you set for them. Like if you give your partner a lot of trust, they want to live up to that. And if you come to them with a really like distrustful energy, they'll probably live up to that too.
Yeah, because they might as well. It's almost like if you're accusing somebody of doing something wrong all the time and you're like, I don't believe you, then it's like,
I might as well do something wrong.
Yeah.
Because like I'm not doing anything wrong, and I guess I should do something wrong because it's like, fuck it. You already think I am.
How do you feel about reading a partner's phone, or emails, journals, things like that?
Don't. Like,
Yeah.
it's also, you're just going to see shit if there is
No matter
anything.
what.
Yeah. No matter what. Even if it's not about you, like, it could just be anything. And you're looking for trouble and you're going to fucking find it.
Of course.
I have no desire
Yeah.
to look through somebody's shit. I really, if you have the urge to look through somebody's shit, like their phone, the
It's over.
relationship's already over.
It's over.
Because the trust has already been completely broken. But
Yeah.
also like, God, the ramblings that I have in my journal of just like psychopathic shit that I'm like, if anyone read this, I would be in jail. Like, I'm like, I'd be jailed for this. Like,
Jailed.
I could never, and out of context, everything seems insane.
Of course.
You know, and it's like I wouldn't even want to like begin, but a lot of times like I think people look, it is a self-sabotage thing. It's like you looked for a means to an ends. You know, you're like, if I can just get above this, if I can just like, we really want to be the observer a lot, but the issue with being the observer is that you're not living. 1, 2, you're then like constantly almost like narrating with like, oh, I knew this all along. Well, it's like, yeah, you knew it all along because you created it.
Yeah.
That's really it. I mean, I don't know. Being in a healthy relationship is like, it's difficult to do. It requires trust, honesty, but a lot of it rests upon you. That's and that's like, then you have to be like psychologically healthy and shit. And we're not all psychologically healthy, but we all crave connection.
Yeah.
And that's the fucked up thing. It's like we a lot of times are not in the position to even like give that love, but we want it so fucking bad that it's like, and then shit just gets muddled, you know?
Yeah. I think it's completely unacceptable. No, there's no reason. And I have grown into. Of course, I've done it in the past, and
Of course, you've done it.
yeah.
How many times?
Probably just once in one relationship, and
Long-term one?
yep,
Why did you do it?
because I saw someone's name pop up, and I just was like, "Who's that?" And
Did you know the person's name who popped up, or was it just a mysterious like Claire or something?
I didn't know the person, so I was just like, "Oh, I'll
But it was
just
a
check
girl's
this out."
name.
Yes, and it was actually pretty harmless. However, you know, I then had all these questions, and I couldn't ask the questions because I had acquired the information in a shitty way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and then once you do it, I had somebody do it to me a lot, like repeatedly, and so that was like,
Why did they do it a lot? Is that an insecurity? Just
yeah, is an
from them?
insecurity. Yeah, and the thing is, they never ever found something, and
but they would be honest
sad.
with you that they looked through your shit. They would say, "I looked through your phone," or did you catch them?
I caught them.
How'd you catch them?
You know, when you get a text message, if somebody's not been in your phone and you get a new text message, you can see the text on your unlocked screen.
Yeah.
And then you go in and then you go to those messages. But then if you go in, there's nothing on your unlocked screen, and then you go in and you see like the numbers like 3, 4, 5 or whatever on your green text box, you know that the phone's been locked and the texts haven't been read yet. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's how I knew.
I actually, this isn't for everyone, but I know me and my partner know each other's passcodes because I
Yeah.
have nothing to hide. Like, and he doesn't either, and he's never been like weird. Like, there's no, I don't know. Like, I have no interest.
Yeah.
In like going through his phone. I know his passcode because if it was like, hey, change the song or do this, you know, and same with mine, just to like do something that like, you know, but which I actually feel like is kind of a nice thing because I don't get really, holy shit. You ever been with somebody who like, they're all of a sudden like,
Yeah.
and you're like, the fuck you doing?
It's a subtle move, but
Sketchy.
when someone puts their phone down on the table, but they put it down, screen down, that's a subtle
Really?
shady
See,
move.
I do that if I'm like if I'm having like lunch or dinner with somebody. I do that because if it glows up, then I'm gonna look at my phone and not pay attention to you.
Yeah, no, I think there's like actually a legit reason to do that, but like in general, you and I are sitting on the couch, you take your phone out of your pocket, and then you do one of those.
Yeah, I was with a girl and like we were great day, right? Nice little date day.
Yeah, in love. Yeah,
Gay shit, whatever.
yeah, totally.
We went boating. You were like rowing her in a boat.
Yeah.
She was twirling an umbrella.
Rage.
Yeah, there was fucking chocolate strawberries was great.
Right. She was dying of
You took your
syphilis.
jacket off and put it over a puddle so she could walk.
And like as we were like leaving, like went to like change a song on her phone, like grabbed her phone.
No.
And I was like, bro, fuck.
Oh.
And then we just like I was like, oh, that's it. And then I never went out with her again. I was like, fuck.
Oh
that.
my god!
Yeah.
Do you think she knew? That was
she
the
didn't know.
moment?
Probably not.
To
Yeah.
me,
But I was like,
her
no.
that instant reaction, I'm like, she probably had a boyfriend.
Oh shit, maybe.
That's what I mean. I mean, honestly, like just because I'm like, that's like wild. Like,
Yeah.
what could be on your phone?
Yeah.
Exactly. Even if a guy is like texting her, like what could be on there?
He's like, babe, I'm not seeing anybody else. It's child porn.
right, and you'd be like, oh, thank God.
I don't want to indict you.
Yeah.
It's-
No,
like,
I'm not with. I'm exclusive with you.
Yeah.
These are just pictures.
It's my boy Randy. He's got this whole thing.
Don't worry, all these kids are dead.
It's illegal if they're dead. I checked. I think. I don't know.
I just think it'd be ruder to have them grow up with having severe sexual trauma.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Great date though. Really,
Yeah.
really good.
It bummed me out so bad, and I was like, fuck.
Totally.
Like, right away, I was like,
Can you
God.
reenact the like? Was it like a panic shuffle or was it like a?
No, it was like literally like.
Okay, I'm gonna grab for the phone.
So it was like, no, it was like, so I went to like change it, and I was just like, and then she immediately just like grabbed it. So it's your phone, and
Okay.
I was like, oh, can I? And she was like,
Oh, and
just
she was like,
ripped it. Yeah. And I was like,
Ew.
and I was like, okay. Fucking. Oh, also maybe she was like just like texting her friends like, fuck this guy, this date sucks. Like,
No, because then it's
Could
like,
have been that.
mate.
it's possible.
Then leave.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Why are you at the point where you
Why
guys are
even
absolutely
text-
jamming to music? Like,
Yeah, if you're like jamming,
you're
jamming in music.
freaking jamming in the car.
Yeah, eating chocolate covered strawberries, getting hella horny. You know, getting mad horny.
How did you end the date at that point?
That was like the drive home.
Oh, okay.
So pretty much,
Was she driving?
yeah. And she was still super energetic towards the end of it. Like, great, let's.
Do you think
Again,
it
I
was
was
an
like-
instinct or reaction that was not based in anything?
Oh my God.
That maybe, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that it wasn't even anything nefarious that was happening on her phone in any
No.
way, shape, or form? Or do you think it had to have been?
Yeah, I don't think that at all. Like
Yeah.
you would never feel that way with your phone unless there was something.
Every time I've caught a guy doing that like this, I'll call it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what's up? And then there usually I've had that happen and a guy was literally just like he was literally looking at other girls like on like Instagram. Like in bikinis and shit. And I had just gone to the bathroom. And it's like we were just talking. I go to the bathroom and I'm like, you're literally like looking at like a
Yeah.
20-year-old on your phone.
Okay, Liam, this is a question that I have for you. So, you know, I dated somebody who it was like, I just couldn't even be on Instagram at a certain point because this was back when you could see their activity,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know, and I would see like blah, blah, blah has liked, you know.
You would
like,
see this from your partner.
yeah,
See, I would
has
never even look at
Giselle
that.
Oliveira's photo, Emrata, Hailey Bieber, like just every beautiful, incredible woman in the world. Like he followed and was like constantly liking the photo, and I had to like, you know, I followed them too, of course.
Yeah.
And then I would see like, oh, he's liked their photo, and it's such a shitty feeling. And I wonder how you feel about it. Like, what's the intention behind like following a beautiful woman and then like chucking a like on her photo when you're already in a relationship?
Maybe she'll decide to fuck me.
No,
one day.
I know. It totally is that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for being honest. Because
Men
that is
are
so true.
fucking mentally
It's insane.
ill.
It's insane.
The
I do
psychosis.
that. I'm like, I'll follow, you know, some supermodel and I'll like her post. I'm like, there's like a 1 in a million chance. I'll take those
100%. I
odds.
knew it was that, and I've had a friend tell me it was that before, so it's refreshing to hear somebody like validate that. And so I now actually feel better in being uncomfortable with that because I do think it's a lame move. I think
Oh, it's
super lame.
so lame.
You're
I have-
pinning yourself up there for other people who are your friends to see that you
Yeah.
can like that photo, and it's kind of just a shitty move, I think.
It's just like small. Like I don't. I guy that yeah. There's guys that I've been with that I'm like. It's literally just like they follow thirst trap girls, and it's just like why are I don't know.
You
Men
know-
are so fucking stupid.
You know what I would
shitty
hide on my
sometimes.
phone
What?
Probably.
is my TikTok algorithm my FYP.
Incredible. Yeah, because it's mostly cuties dancing.
It's cuties dancing and then just dudes with Down syndrome. It's that. It's
How did that happen?
those are my favorite videos on the internet. Not chill.
No, it's not. I mean, I just assume that every guy wants to fuck a 22-year-old. Is that true? I mean, you're already 23, but I feel like even when guys are like in their 40s, they're like, yeah, like girls that are 19 are hot.
See, like I think like they're still like close-ish to my age, so I still think they're attractive, but I've hung out with a 19-year-old.
You don't want to hang out with them, just fucking them, like literally just to like they're soft and they are like nubile. I get it.
But like I was 22. This was the last year. I hung out with a 19-year-old, and the whole time I was like, this feels wrong.
Yeah.
We were having conversations, and I was just like, what the fuck?
She's like talking about cartoons she likes and shit.
You ever seen my? You like Wizards of Waverly Place? I'm like, I do, but
You're
like,
kidding me.
no, she didn't actually say it.
Okay.
But the whole time I was just like, oh fuck, this is
Yeah. That makes
not
sense
good.
though. Like I get it. It's the biological.
this is my open stance. I'm not a pedophile, dude.
Right.
It's scary. I feel like men have a tendency because see, I don't fucking know what is real because I don't know if like a lot of guys just say what they're into, being like, no, I like a woman with a brain, and I'm like, I don't believe a lot of them. I think sometimes like, yeah, like they want a girl with a good personality, but also like they're down to fuck like a mentally challenged like 22-year-old like girl who has abs.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Fuck is one thing, but like
Fuck is definitely one thing, but I feel like I don't know in which direction is like the normalcy of like male behavior. Cause I'm like, it makes sense that like men just have like a wandering eye and like want to fuck like hot young girls. But then also like, is that a red flag? And then I'm like, but also like, are the guys that I've dated in the past, like, have they kind of just been like lying a little bit, being like, no, like personality is the thing turns me on the most. I'm like, you seem like a liar.
That is just not true because that's not the way men are designed. Women are designed that way. So it's like, I totally understand like that men are visually driven.
Yes.
That makes sense. And I can totally get behind that. Like, and we are the opposite. So it's like, you will usually see in a heterosexual relationship, you will see the man is usually less attractive by normal standards than the woman, which makes total sense. So me and my friends had this theory. It's like when you see it the other way around, when the girl is not as hot as the guy, that guy's fucking weird. Like that guy's really fucking weird.
He barely has a dick. That's what I think.
He has about no penis.
Yeah, he has a very, very little penis going on.
that is so true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
Dude, I saw a guy recently. I saw this couple, and I literally thought it was two girls and a guy, and I thought that this woman was his mom. He was very handsome, but he was handsome. Like, you know, when you see somebody from like Iowa and they're like, oh, they don't even know that they're hot. Because like in their like little shit town, they like are just a guy. He's just Dave, but he was like 6'3" and like very attractive guy.
hot, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I think that's like, I was like, is that his mom or his sister? Like, what is it? And it was his partner. And I was just like, this is fucking weird, man.
So weird.
I'm like, this guy is definitely weird. Like, this guy collects like doll shoes or something like that. There's got to be something off about this motherfucker, you know?
You know what's weird though is when you say it's odd or a red flag, or not a red flag, just grosses you out a bit when a guy says that he likes younger girls. When girls talk about like thinking like a 50-year-old man is hot and they're my age, I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, so that's a red flag to you. Is that the
No, not even a red flag. It's just like, I don't get it.
Right.
Well,
I
at
like how you
least,
don't-
okay, here's the thing. The big difference is that you're gonna get older. You will one day be the one that they covet. We are only getting older. So it's like when a guy's like, yeah, I think a 19-year-old's hot. I'm like, I'm almost 32. Like, I'm just like, oh, well, then don't look at me. Then get away from me. I don't know what to tell you. Like, but at least like if you like fetishize somebody that's older, at least we're getting older.
At least we're moving towards that.
Yes.
That's funny. That's a funny
You know
way
what
to
I
think about
mean?
it.
It's like, it gets so much worse where it's like, well, look, like, I mean, by and large, I might be the most attractive that I'll ever be in this moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't fucking know. I mean, it is like, it's hard. I think women are tasked with like a hard thing. And it's obviously it's well trod upon material that like, you know, we become less and less relevant as our biological clock nears more like the end. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's hard because I think there is a biological aspect of a man that's like, I find young women attractive because they could carry my progeny. And I think that is like on like a psychological level. I think that informs their attraction.
Absolutely.
You know, that it's like, she's healthy.
Yeah.
You know, she can carry child. You know, it's like,
Bear sire my children.
but I can understand. Okay, maybe I'm a fucking creep. I'm gonna be real honest. I think some guys that are like in their early 20s, I'm like, I think they're really hot.
I'm good.
You're good?
In general, I don't know. But
I like guys that are 10 years younger than me. I'm like, hey, I would never. But I'm like, yeah, he's hot. Like a 21-year-old who's like a surfer. I'm like,
See, that makes more sense to me than seeing a dude that's 45 and being like,
but that's hot too. I think a lot of people.
I find that when
animals, men.
kitchen appliances, depending on the brand. I find that when I'm out and about and I end up asking a guy his age, if he's quite a bit younger, he will always like skirt around it. He does not want to admit it.
Yes.
Oh, I never do.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. Because you've lost opportunities
100%.
because of your age.
If I'm talking to a girl at a bar and she's 28, 29, and she's like, how old are you? And I'm like, 26. She's like, you look 15. And I'm like, well.
I wouldn't have known that you were 23. You look much more mature than that.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's so funny. I keep having that experience though. Like I'm friends with all these creators just on the internet, on Instagram and on TikTok. I see them in real life. I expect them to be, 6'1" and 32 years old. They're about 5'4" and like 20. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's so disorienting.
Can't see height on the internet,
No, you can't.
folks.
You can't see height. You can't.
It's beautiful. Guys, I think we really discussed a lot. Honestly, your advice, Delaney.
You're extremely wise.
Thank you so much.
You're very, very wise.
Thank you so much. I didn't come here to play.
Yeah.
Wow, not at all.
I actually feel a lot better about myself after this episode.
I feel worse about myself. So, we'll just kind of like, we'll pass, maybe the next episode I could toss this on to you. But yeah, I feel like now I'm like riddled with like, is this normal? What's going on? Like, I'm just like, I have an existential crisis all the time about like my sexuality or like relationships that I'm in where I'm like, is this good? Am I getting fucked over? Like, I like constantly think, I'm like, am I getting fucked over right now?
I wouldn't fuck with you at all if I was in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Because
no
like
kidding.
some women, I'm like, they're not violent. And even if they were, you could like chop someone's dick
Yeah,
off.
you got hands.
Yeah.
You think I'm violent?
Dude, you give off the vibe that's like, fuck with me. I'll cut your dick off in the
You
while
know
you're
what's,
sleeping.
it's funny? Yeah, I'm like a Lorian Bobbitt, like the girl who cut her dick off and threw it out the
Giving
window.
Kathy Bates misery.
I feel like, it's so funny. I've like never been like, I don't act out aggression physically at all. Like at all. And I don't
Just
yell.
sexually.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not a yeller either. And I think people are really like shocked by that because like, well, you have like a lot of energy in this. And I'm like, I've like, if I'm angry or like upset, I turn into like a child where I'm just like,
Petulant.
yeah, I'm just like really sad right now.
I would expect pure chaos from
No,
I would
dude,
too.
zero.
What is your angry vibe?
with a girl, just completely.
You're a wall puncher, dude.
No, I'm not.
Really?
Come on, I'm not a wall puncher.
No
You told me that you
No.
like to get in fights sometimes.
I would imagine that you're probably.
That's with other drunk men, and then I lose.
I'd love to see that.
No, I'll completely emotionally shut down.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like
Yeah.
not like the silent treatment, but I'm like I don't care.
Wait, are you a comedian?
Yeah.
Just
No, it's
complete
insane.
isolation.
Well, I think that's like the most cruel thing that somebody who's like really funny or talkative, like you and I both, I think the cruelest thing you can do when that's your personality type is to shut down. And that's
that
probably
away.
why we do it.
Dude, there's nothing.
know?
Nothing is like turning me off on a girl more is in a slight argument when they like slapped you.
Wait, you've been slapped?
I've been slapped a couple times.
That's insanity.
You've
been slapped?
But I think the girl did it to kind of be like dramatic.
Yeah.
And like get my attention. And I was like, no,
That's
not into that.
fucked up.
Not into that.
No,
That is crazy.
that's psychotic behavior. I've never
It
laid
is.
a hand on a man.
They were psychotic.
I've never even, because literally the worst thing I've ever done was slam a door. And I was also very not into that behavior. And it was with somebody that I dated a long time ago that like drove me to the points of like insanity. And I was like, oh, I can't be with this person because I'm doing things that are not me.
Yeah.
You know, because I just don't, I'm more of a crier. I don't yell.
See, crying works so much better.
So
Yelling is
More effective.
Yelling, I'm like,
It works.
do
so
that all
well.
day. But if like and then if someone starts crying,
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
I gently wept on a date the other night.
Gorgeous.
Not
Kinda-
because of anything.
It's kind
he
of
did.
beautiful. Like a light cry from a woman
Yeah,
is
I was
gorgeous.
like literally someone
It
with the
is.
camera out. I am Julia Roberts.
like-
And he was just like, oh my God, like, oh,
Yeah.
like, you know, because we were talking about some, I'm very scared of flying. And so he brought some like horrible plane crash up to me and I was like, what? And then I just got a little like scared. And he was just like, oh, this is the best case scenario. Like you're crying, but it's not because of anything mean that I did to you. And I get to comfort you. Like I'm loving this.
Yeah.
It's charming. It's literally that's like beautiful. Yeah, I like wept like lightly the other night at dinner, then had nothing. But like it was
Women do be doing that.
Yeah, women be crying
At dinners gently.
Yeah, and like a nice dinner, and then you have to keep it together, so you do the pretty cry where you're like, I just like.
Like alligator tear just like
Yeah.
goes down the cheek.
So it just how good does it feel when it like rolls the right way?
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, that one probably looked.
You know the relationship's over when the guy doesn't react to you crying.
Oh my God, that's
'Cause
what,
it's
like,
what a
Yeah.
mouthful there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so true.
Oh, the best is when they cry because you cry. It's like throwing up because you're like yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, well, they'll be like, I've had that happen like a lot where like I'll like weep and then like the guy's like, he's like crying a little because
You're like,
I'm
I'm
crying.
nailing
Baller.
this.
That's
It's
sick.
it's baller.
You
It's
gotta
good.
cry, but with your crying, that's
Yes, multiple times. Yeah, it's pretty effective.
Ideal.
Anyway, well, guys, I mean, look, if you need to cry, cry. I think we gave. I think we really
Tops
teed
to
off a-
bots. Yeah,
We
100%.
went through a lot of things. I mean, look, just to kind of put a bow on it, I feel like everything's normal. I feel like a lot of questions are just like, is it normal to do this or want this? I think everything's normal. I think being communicative is the name of the game always, you know, especially when it comes to dating. But, you know, whatever you want to do, let your fucking freak flag fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except, you know, masturbating to 19-year-olds, but God damn it.
And there's nothing funnier than a straight man getting pegged. That's the funniest.
There is, yeah.
It's hard to
yeah,
believe.
don't be on all fours.
Well, Delaney, where can they find you?
You can find me at Delaney Rowe on Instagram and at Delaney Says Hello on TikTok.
Thank you so much for coming on today. You're
thank
gorgeous, you're funny,
So
and you're smart as
I'm
hell.
such a big fan.
I love you guys. I'm such a big fan of both of you.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.